welcome to our Rebels chat on the final 2 episodes of Star Wars Rebels. I'm your co-host Julie.
And I'm your co-host Anna.
And what are you wearing today?
So I'm wearing, I kind of wanted to wear the whole Ghost Crew, so I only had this one because people need to make more Rebels outfits because it's hard to find. So this one's from the Smuggler's Bounty box.
Okay.
And I'm wearing my vest with a bunch of pins, which I
love those pins.
I love my new Loth Wolf from 800 Pounds products. I believe I got that right. So,
and you have your Black Series Rebels Ahsoka.
Black Series Rebels Ahsoka, the Color for Geek droid, the other one's from Star Wars Celebration, and this one you brought from
somewhere.
From San
Celebration.
Diego.
I mean, yeah.
San Diego.
Yeah. Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Perfect.
What are you wearing?
I'm wearing my Sabine shirt from Redbubble.
Okay.
I've worn it before, but I felt like I really needed to just wear it again for today.
It's meant to be.
Yeah.
And our pops, I think I put like a lot of them today, but because I needed to bring back kind of every pop I had related to Rebels, which I noticed I had some over there that I didn't put, but whatever. So yeah, if you want, you can start on your side.
Okay.
And after the Loth Wolf, I'll continue.
Okay, we have Chopper, Maul, Rex, Thrawn, and Sabine, and of course our White Loth Cat.
Then we have Hera, Chopper, Ahsoka, Vader, Death Trooper, and Chopper.
Again,
because I need all the Chopper.
We really like Chopper.
I love Chopper. That's, I think, one of the things that I'm going to miss the most is Chopper.
Oh my god, me too. Yeah. So. I loved in Rebels Recon when they were talking about, what are you going to miss the most? Or what was your favorite moment? And they were like, obviously, the 2 out of 3 sassy droid compilation. And I wish we got more AP5 in this last season.
Yeah.
I have no idea where he is.
But I know. Where is, maybe back where in that...
Or maybe he's with the Rebel base or something?
Yeah. He's probably somewhere.
He's living life. He's happy. Hopefully.
So, okay, before we get so sad, let's talk about the first episode, which was A Fool's Hope.
What did you think when we saw the general guy, the old mayor, giving away the rebels? Did you think that was for
Ryder?
real? Yeah.
I was so confused. I was like, that was probably part of the plan. But as it kept going, I was like, did he really betray them?
That's what my thought was too.
I was like, oh no, wait, he did betray them because when, wow, I'm losing her name right now.
Yeah, I know. Sloane.
Okay.
Maybe.
Man, I had it, whatever. When she got there and Sabine didn't know, or she pretended like she didn't know, I was like, this guy really... betrayed them.
I think it was a plan between specifically Ezra and him.
Yeah, but I just love that since the beginning we see, like, okay, Filoni is throwing us off in so many ways, and at the same time, but wait, Ezra is in charge of things. Mm-hmm. I thought that was super cool, and I love that it started with, like, deception.
Yeah.
So I was like, whoa, that's very interesting.
It was cool to see how Ezra had literally everything planned out. Like, he had every road mapped out, just in case.
Yeah, because even, like, when things didn't go as planned, he knew.
Yeah, like, he had that, too. He's like, all right, I have a plan for this one also.
So, what did you think about the whole fighting scene? I know there was a lot of characters and everybody was going around and they brought old characters back in the mix. So
I had massive anxiety the entire fight scene because I was like, oh my god, Sabine don't get shot. Oh my god, Zeb don't get shot. Oh my god, I can't handle this. What happens? And then as it continues on, we see the wolves and I was like, this is not a kid show.
I know the attack when they went to the cave and then coming back when the wolves starting attacking everybody, I was like, whoa, that was intense. Yeah. I mean, I loved it because one of my favorite things about Rebels and one thing that I will miss the most is obviously the wolves. Mm-hmm. But I was like, whoa, that's very interesting.
I also liked the actual cinematography of when Ezra turns on the lightsabers and we just see the eyes behind him. I was like, wow.
No, I love that this 2 episodes went from very dark to super light.
Yeah.
So that was interesting to see, like, okay, we started in a really, like, them taking control, but you're gonna see where it leads.
Right. And it was also, like, you see the ugly side of war. Like, even though they're good guys, like, they still need casualties. And I would like to say, I think Chopper has the highest kill count out of everybody on the Rebels team.
Yeah, I think that could be accurate. I mean, Chopper is the best. He's always there. He knows what to do. I felt bad when he got fried, and I was like,
too. I was like,
this is Chopper. But it was really cool, and I love that the whole fighting scene was very coordinated, and it's just everything was amazing in this episode.
It was great that, like, the exact moment they needed Hera and the Ghost Crew to be there, they were there.
Yeah.
That everything just lined up perfectly for Ezra. It seemed like that was, like, exactly his plan and everything.
I love that Hondo was the one bringing them back.
I love Hondo.
I mean, that, the blockade, I'm losing everything into it. And the blockade, I thought it was pretty cool. And his relationship with his little pig friend. It's so cute. He was super worried and super reinforcing with him.
And just so excited of everything he did. He was like, look at him!
He's the best. I love that they brought him back. I really love that. This is what we see. That Ezra has always had that connection with everybody. He's always been so empathetic, and he's always had that like good quality of seeing the good in people.
Right.
So bringing Hondo back, bringing the one that I feel looks like Jim Carrey's character.
Right? I don't remember his name.
And I forgot his name. Wow, I should have done better research. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. And seeing Hondo and, like, talking about the whole, like, oh, like, I'm not a smuggler, I'm a pirate, was so cool, because, like, that's what it was back then. Like, in Clone Wars era, they weren't smugglers, they were pirates. Yeah. And I think that was cool, especially with the upcoming Solo movie coming out, to see that a little bit. I loved it.
Yeah, I love all, like, the Easter eggs we got from The Last Jedi, from Rogue One. I thought that was really interesting.
I forgot who said it. I think it was Ezra, but he was like, I'm going to finish what you started. And I was like, Kylo?
Yeah, he said that in this episode? Mm-hmm. I mean, the Fool's Hope was all how the technical part of the whole plan, right?
I believe so, yeah.
When they got to the dome,
that was already the next episode, Family Reunion.
Okay. So when is it? So that episode is really short.
Yeah. Yeah, it's literally just like the fight.
Yeah. Okay. So there's not much about that episode.
Yeah.
More than the fight. And seeing the creature kind of being there, fighting also. I
wonder, because they really listened to Ezra, and I think we talked about this in the last episode, that the wolves mostly are for Lothal, not for Ezra. Mm-hmm. So I think it's because they now follow Ezra, and, like, later on they follow Sabine, and I think that's not because of who they are. I think that's because their, like, goal is just to protect Lothal.
Yeah, it's like they see that these are people that are really caring for their land, so they're gonna do whatever it's in their hands or paws in order to protect them.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. I love seeing more and more of them. He started with 1, then 2, then 3 more, and 4.
Yeah. Then they had a whole pack, and I was like, whoa.
And it's sad that you didn't see any more of the Doom Wolf, but it would make sense because they kind of said goodbye.
Yeah. I was kind of, even though I was, like, sad because I kind of wished he would be in it, I'm really glad that Kanan was not in this at all. Like, not even his voice or anything. Just because, like, it would have made the goodbye from last episode, like, a little bit meaningless.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you. What I love was how the episode, which I forgot to say, how the episode started with, like, Ezra talking to his parents.
Yeah.
And saying how he was afraid of his friends. And I think it's because in his mind, he already had seen the vision of, like, how things were going to play out. So I thought that moment was so beautiful. And the fact that Hera came in. And heard part of it. And noticing that, okay, look, this is your adoptive son, like, growing up. And look at him now and how much he's mature. It's spectacular.
Was this also the first time that Ezra officially referred to them as family?
No, I think he's mentioned it before.
He has? Okay.
I think he has mentioned it before.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like that right after we see Hera calling to Ezra after he had the whole little parents moment. We see Governor Price, which we found out the name. And, like, we see her, like, totally afraid of the wolf. And I think, like, just from these 2 episodes, like, I want to say that the wolves are, like, her biggest fear now.
Yeah. No, yeah. And what I loved is that Hera never took revenge. I thought that was pretty cool. And I like that. I didn't want to see that side of Hera.
Right.
Like, she had more of, like, a bigger goal in her head than just, like, you know, taking revenge on her, though she was there and torturing her and everything.
It didn't even seem like that even crossed her mind. Like,
no.
Yeah.
I just thought, like, okay, she's going to be alone with her. Is she going to do something? But I'm just glad that it didn't happen.
Right. And then we, like, progress into, like, the next scene, which is them, like, starting the plan.
Yeah.
When Ezra, like, stopped Sabine and was like, I know I can always count on you, I had massive anxiety.
Well, in that moment, I was like, oh, he's dying.
Yeah, I thought of that, or I thought, like, Sabine was gonna save him and, like, the group or something, and I don't know, I was just really worried the entire time.
Yeah, I think that's the moment that he realized he had a bigger goal. Like, even though he had seen the vision and come up with a plan, I think him going through it and seeing Sabine right there and kind of, like, in a way saying goodbye but not, I think he realized that, okay, I'm doing this.
Also, like, when the time comes, like, you're gonna be the one that needs to help me escape.
And that's why, like, I know you ship them so much.
But also, I respect... Yeah, I ship them. Disclaimer. And so, like, I do see that in this episode, but I also feel like what you were going to say.
Yeah, because I've always seen that brotherly and that best friend relationship that they've had, that no matter what, either one of them is going to save the other, and they're going to count on them. And that's why I've never gone through the extra step of shipping them, because it's just... It's another level of relationship.
That's, like, what I think is, like, coolest about their relationship, that they could be romantically involved, or they could be more on that, like, Luke-Leia level of just, like, siblings and very close.
Yeah. But I think that moment was very... It was beautiful. They were up in the sky. It was like everybody was surrounding them, but still they were able to have their moment.
Mm-hmm. And I also, as the episode continues, I really, really, really appreciated what we were talking about last time and this whole last part of the season, how Ezra has taken charge. And I think this was Sabine's moment, and Sabine now took charge.
Yeah. So, yeah, and pretty much the ball is on her court, and she knows that she has a bigger also role to play in all of this master plan.
Yeah.
And then getting to the dome, I loved how Hera ran with Chopper.
Yeah.
And, like, it's like, okay, let's go. And I love that they brought back Sabine's friend.
Yeah, me too.
Kato. I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Yeah.
So I like I said, I love that they were able to bring back those characters that were part of nothing and became part of the rebellion.
Right.
Because that's what the rebellion is about. The rebellion is not only Leia and Mon Mothma, it's also people that are tired of the Empire and will do something about it.
Like the officers, like Rex and his guys, like they had nothing for so many years, and then
they were living like
junk.
Yeah, out of the world, like, and they had a meaning. So that was pretty cool. And then the whole plan was very bold, like Ezra said, not crazy. But it's something that, you know, they noticed that was the only way to do it.
Right, and I think that Ezra knew that there was going to be like 3 different paths that this road could take. And I think we saw it later. He was like, oh, like this was one of them, and this was the one I was like least looking forward to. But if it had to be done, it had to be done.
Yeah, and I love that he had his friend Mart knowing, okay, like, I'm going to give you my secret plan.
Yeah.
And you're going to do it no matter what, and you can't tell anybody.
Right.
And I love that even though Mart and the other guy got attacked by the Rook, the creature, when he woke up, that was the first thing.
He's like, oh my God, we gotta go do that.
But that's like the whole rebellion. Like, yeah, everybody has a goal, and that's how we see it with like Rogue One and on other movies. So I think that was a crucial part for this episode.
Like the rebellion, especially in the early stages, are like tiny gears, and all these gears lead up to the massive work of art that they all need. And I think they all know that. And that's why like everybody has an important role to play. Even if they're not in the dome fighting stormtroopers, they have something maybe even bigger to do.
Yeah. So, and that's why when it came time and Thrawn was like against him and he knew he had to surrender, Sabine was like, okay, this is the moment we talked about. Let me open the vent for you.
The looks that they shared in that moment were like heartbreaking, but also beautiful.
Yeah. And I love, like, they brought John Williams back for this episode, so the music was just like, okay.
Oh my God. Every second I was like,
yeah. And then, you know, and those are the moments that you're like, okay, this is intense, but it's going somewhere. Mm-hmm. And Thrawn, what I loved about Thrawn is that obviously he has freaking Kanan's helmet there, and like it was all the artifacts, kind of like, this is what I can do, and you know, you're my last piece of this puzzle that I'm creating. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he still like didn't take full power and went for the Emperor. Right. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, I also like that he like kind of teased Ezra before with Sabine's painting. Yeah. And then he was like, oh, you don't even know what this painting means. You don't know what any of these paintings means. And I feel like that was also referencing back to Hera's thing that he tried to steal. And just, well, like, I think we even said it in like 2 episodes ago, or last episode, that Thrawn is such a good villain because he has no remorse for what these pieces of art are actually about.
Yeah. And still we see the crazy villain that he is, because he had no doubt in firing his people and hurting him where it hurts the most, which is Lothal, his planet, his homeland.
He even said, like, oh, this is going to be, like, a really nice painting, especially when the artist dies. And, like, to Ezra about Sabine, who's, like, right down there in the dome dying. Yeah. It's crazy. And then what you said, that he goes to the Emperor. I loved that it was Chancellor Palpatine Emperor, too, when we first saw him. I was like, Wizard of Oz?
No, I mean, I loved it. And watching Rebels Recon and how he is explaining the light, and I'm like, it all makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I love that, you know, he was there listening to Ezra in the episode of A World Between Worlds, talking to Ahsoka about how he wishes his life was different and how he wishes he could see his parents. And here comes Palpatine, hurting where he knows the best. The same thing he did with Anakin. And it's like, oh, you want to go see your parents?
Also, he had, like, well, they said it in Recon also, where, like, the eyebrows were slanted and, like, they went for a grandpa look. Yeah. And he was wearing, like, all white. I don't know if you noticed that, but it was, like, white. And then I was just, like, it reminded me... We mentioned Gandalf before the show. It reminded me of Saruman. Yes. And then, like, actual Saruman. And I really liked the whole, like, temple, like, that he... Exactly what he said. Like, the manipulation that he did with Anakin came back through Ezra. Do you think, though, what he was seeing about his parents, like, do you think that was, like, sort of real?
I do think so. Even though it may have been forced magic, evil, real... But I think it was very real because you seen Ezra crying. And you see Ezra, like... I don't think he wanted to go see them. Like, it just was hard for him to, like, let go. Yeah. But I think, like we mentioned before, Palpatine is the worst Sith. I mean, and I don't mean, like, horrible. I mean, like, he's evil.
He's the evil.
He's the most evil of all. So for him to tackle that, he had him for, like, maybe 20 seconds.
Yeah. I also think that it was, like, real because... They almost seemed, like, saddened by the fact that, like, he was even in this situation. And then when he's like, I'm sorry that I can't do this, and he, like, crushed everything, the last thing they say was, we love you, Ezra.
And I'm so proud of you. Yeah, so I think it was like a weird connection. But I just love, this is when the moment that you realize, like, Ezra started this show, you know, talking about his parents and everything.
Well,
and
didn't he even hate his parents a little bit?
Yeah, and he didn't even understand the cause, and he was in the streets, and look at him now letting go.
Yeah.
Like, that was so crucial for Ezra as a character, and that's how you know he became a Jedi. Mm-hmm. Like, even though he's always been a Jedi, but that moment was so crucial for his growth.
Yeah, I think that was the moment when he stopped being the Padawan and started being... I don't even know if have they used the word Padawan?
No, I doubt it.
Yeah, I think Ezra's just always been, like, Kanan's apprentice kind of thing. I know they used apprentice because of Maul. Yeah. But I loved that moment. And then when we see, like, the twitching, flashing of the Emperor.
That was so cool. And that was like, yes, this is Filoni and animation doing it so right, especially for the last episode. Thank you so much.
I love it. Especially when you mentioned the lighting again. Because, like, that's when I really saw it. Like, it was up here. And then it was down here.
Yeah.
And that's always, like, evil lighting. Evil, evil, evil.
Yeah, you only see his chin, and that's how we grew up, like, seeing Palpatine.
And we get to see the Imperial Guards, and those weapons they had were crazy.
Yes, I loved it. And here we go. Let's throw The Last Jedi right here.
Yeah, they looked more like the Pictorial Guards than Imperial, and I thought that was really cool. Like, definitely... Well, we all know that, like, the First Order is heavily influenced by the Empire, so I'm sure maybe these were the guys that the Pictorial Guards were based off of.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it would look like them, and I always loved the Emperor's Guards, and they always look so cool.
They do. I wish we would have seen them fight more, because we know that they can probably kick ass, but they're also, like, in those giant-ass robes and helmets that, like, it's probably insanely difficult to fight in.
But it's also cool because... Yeah, they might be great fighters, but then here's Ezra who has all this passion and all this emotions, and he's gotten so good at fighting that it's just like 1, 2, 3, boom, bam.
I also loved, it reminded me of the Rey quote, like, the Force is just lifting rocks. And then
yes! Like... I thought about that too when when they have him and he's throwing rocks. I'm like, oh, yes.
Yeah, I was like...
Thank you so much for that Easter egg. That was awesome. And then I like that he didn't go, like, try to get out of the ship. Like, he went back to Thrawn.
Right.
I thought that was like, okay, let me finish what I started kind of thing. So, and the fact that he didn't kill him right away, I was like, that's very interesting. Let's see.
Yeah.
And then when you feel like there's nothing left to lose.
Well, we knew that, like, somebody was coming. We just had, I don't know. I didn't have any idea who. Did you?
I thought it for sure was a creature because he didn't say he or she, he said
they, like it or something.
And Mark told him, like, oh, if I told you, you wouldn't believe me.
Right. So it had to be something, like, crazy and weird. So for a bit, I was actually thinking, like, maybe Ahsoka because everybody thinks Ahsoka's dead. But then I was like, they used the word it. Like,
yeah,
they
wouldn't say
like Ahsoka for that.
Yeah, I never thought it was Ahsoka. I did for sure think it's a creature, and it would make sense because Ezra has such a connection with Force creatures.
Right.
And at the same time, I love that they brought the Pergolis back because it's like, they were not there like people thought as a filler. Or they were like just weird. It's just like, yes, they're there for a reason.
And I thought that was really cool. They literally tied the entire show together.
Yep.
With, like, every little detail was just like, yep, this thing that you thought was dumb before, well, that was a necessity to have.
And that's when you realize, like, this is why we give so much props and we love Filoni, because Filoni is the kind of person that has always tied creatures to the Force, and here is, like, a perfect explanation.
Yeah. I love that Ezra is so in tune with the Force in that sense. Like, they mention it in Recon that, like, every Jedi has, like, something that they're, like, better at. And Ezra's thing is, like, with the creatures. And I love that.
That's when I started loving Ezra. When he started his connection with creatures or other pirates or smugglers, I was like, oh, I like this guy. Then the loth cats and the wolves and
I love
everything.
Loth cats.
But it was pretty cool, and at the same time it was so sad because here comes the moment where Ezra knows that he can't go back. And when Hera is talking to him and giving him that order, and him saying no, I thought I was like, whoa, this is when he became an Kanan, and he learned that last lesson of like selflessness.
And he did a Kanan with the Force be with you always. So
yes.
So I thought Ezra died when that happened, because that's like what it made it seem. But then right after, like, everybody's face was like shocked, and then Sabine was instantly like, and then Sabine's face instantly changed from, we need to like start moving. Yeah. And so like the fact that they didn't give like a second to mourn or anything, I was like, oh, maybe this isn't the end. Maybe Ezra is somewhere else. Yeah. Who knows? And then we find out later, of course.
Yeah, Filoni mentioned it and confirms that both of them are alive. Right. Which is also, like, he left that open to tell different stories. Because then from there we move to, like, I guess, a couple of years have passed. Yeah, definitely. When we see Sabine with her shorter hair and looking older and kind of telling us what everybody's up to.
I like that she was the one to narrate that. Yeah. I thought it was, like, very, like... Because, like, yeah, even though we talked about this, that Ezra is the main character of this story, and it's about him growing up, and I think it's equal parts about Sabine growing up, too. Yeah. We've seen her from the rebellious, angsty teenager to become this woman that she is now, that she's like, I have a mission, and I have a goal.
And I love that, so the first season, we see Sabine and Hera kind of not trusting each other and everything, and in that moment, the last moment, Sabine is telling Hera, like, do you approve? Yeah. Like, I thought that was so meaningful because you see how their relationship also has evolved and how they at first didn't see things eye to eye. Right. And now it's like they're partners. And yeah, even though Sabine is the general, she's still like asking her stuff, and it's really nice to see that.
I feel like that's a really good, like, way, like, how people are with their parents and stuff too. Like, when you're a teenager, you're typically more rebellious against your mom. Yeah. You're like, Mom, don't tell me what to do. But then, like, you know, you're like, oh, Mom, you're a wise person. Tell me if I'm doing this correctly.
A bond, yeah. So, and I love that Sabine was the one that stayed in Lothal. Yeah. Because that also ties back to, like, Ezra telling her, like, I can't count on you. And she feels that responsibility of, like, okay, I'm staying in Lothal. I feel secure because I have the Loth Wolves, and these people, the Empire has left.
And I'm going to drive them out if they come back.
Yeah. So, and the fact that she was narrating while standing where it all started. Yeah. Sabine is starting and seeing the horizon just as Ezra was in the beginning of the show.
So, leaning over it the same exact way, too. I saw that comparison in Recon, that it was like the shot from the beginning of Ezra, and then it was her, and I was like...
It's so beautiful. And then I love how she is telling us about everybody. So we know that Hera fought with Captain Rex, Commander Rex.
We know that they lived.
They survived it. And then, which was the biggest surprise, Jason Syndulla, we have a little baby.
Cute. I love the fact that he was human with green hair.
I know. I loved his hair. I was like, And people don't realize, but we've seen it before. We saw it in Clone Wars. How there was an episode of this stormtrooper that had, like, disconnected, and he actually ended up going out with, like, a Twi'lek.
Right, and then they had a son and
so we knew that was possible, and I thought it was just like, okay, so is that what kind of also Hera wanted to tell Kanan before dying? Oh. Or maybe is that what also Kanan wanted to tell her that he knew? And that was also why he took it even more upon himself to survive and make sure that she lived?
Oh, man.
So many things. After I noticed that, I was like, is that what they were going to tell each other?
And I love that Chopper was there.
I thought Chopper is like, now the babysitter, you know? He has to be there.
I thought it was really just, like, funny editing when, like, they were saying, like, oh, like, he's just like his mother, a pilot, born to be a pilot. And we all know what his dad is like. And it zooms into Chopper. Yeah.
That was it. And then we see how... Callus is with Zeb and the planet's, what was it called? Lyra Sam. which is pretty cool because this planet is so secretive, and you know how they get through the whole hyperspace, whatever. So I thought that was also nice for Callus to also see the victory and to see like, yeah, look, you didn't really kill all his people, the Lasat people,
and like you've like reprimanded yourself so much, and you deserve to be part of this.
And I love because he even mentions at the show how he became free pretty much at the time that he betrayed the Empire. So giving him this last victory is also like, here's your hard work. And I know it must not be easy to go against the Empire, but this is why you're doing it.
This is what it was worth.
Yeah. And then seeing my favorite come back looking like Gandalf.
Ahsoka the White.
With her huge cane, stone, stick, long thingy.
Yeah. Staff,
yes. That sounds better. I loved it. I love that there's a light on her. I love that she looks older.
I love the like she says no words, but she hits the staff on the floor just
like
once.
We're ready.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
It's time.
So now I just want to show about the adventures of Sabine and Ahsoka. Yes. Like, okay, show me how they got to Ezra. Come on, Filoni.
This is from before, but I also really liked that Sabine is the one who got Ezra's lightsaber.
Oh, yes.
And I kind of hope if we do see an Ahsoka and Sabine show that Ahsoka whips out her two, and then Sabine has the one in her blaster.
And I also hoped, because we know there's more Forces of Destiny cartoon shorts coming up, I want them to be like maybe a continuation about that, or maybe like if how Hera got into Battle of Endor, something related to everything that went on the last 5 minutes of the show.
Yeah, I would love that. Also, now that we know Ahsoka lived through all that, I really want to know what Ahsoka felt when Vader became Anakin again at the end of Battle of Endor.
Okay.
I want to know if like she knew somehow, if he Force Ghost went to her.
About that. Yes.
Right? I want to know if Ahsoka ever met up with Luke or Leia and was like, my nephew and niece. And I just like, I want to know like how Ahsoka's going to tie back into this story. Because we know Filoni's not going to stop probably.
No, we're still going to get so many sketches.
We're still going to see Ahsoka somewhere else, hopefully.
Yeah. Her story's not over, and it'll be interesting to see the middle of it before she became Gandalf and the after.
Yes.
And like where did she find Ezra? Because of course they find him. So
yes,
where did he?
And how does Ezra look?
Yeah, is he like super hot long hair?
Right.
So many things. But even though it's very sad that this show came to an end, I'm so happy that they were able to finish it how they wanted. And they deserve that. Because I know Clone Wars didn't finish that way. And we were all like, okay, what happened? But this time he took it into his own hands and just did it beautifully.
I also think Rebels is the single thing that ties together the prequel era and the original trilogy era better than anything else. We see from all the Clone Wars aspects, like to me, Clone Wars is now like the prequels because there's just so much in it.
Yeah.
And I think with all of that and the Force stuff that they tie in, and then we see all the characters from the original trilogy, Leia, Obi-Wan as, you know, old crazy Ben.
Yeah.
We see the Emperor, we see Vader, we even see Luke for 2 seconds.
Know.
So like I think the tie-in with both is like
really good. And I'm hoping we get to see a little Easter eggs in Solo.
Me too.
Because, I mean, it could tie in.
I would love for Hondo to be there. Just even if he's in, like, the background at a cantina.
Yeah.
I would.
It would make total sense.
Yeah.
So, I'm so sad, but I'm very excited. And it was just beautiful. And I cried like crazy yesterday, but it was beautiful.
I agree. I'm really excited to see where the Star Wars TV show world is going to go from here.
Yeah,
the animation stuff. I'm kind of, I'm excited to see what happens next.
Good. And what was your favorite part of the whole series?
You know, for me still, it's tied between two. There are a lot of moments that I love, especially with Sabine, but I think my favorite 2 moments are still the World Between Worlds, because all of the echoes drove me crazy. And of course, every episode we talk about it, our Darth Maul Obi-Wan fight.
Yeah. For me, it'll be the same. Obviously, the Ahsoka moments, the World Between Worlds, and the Loth Wolves. Plus Maul, because Maul is always one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I am so thankful. Thank you, Filoni, and I hope this is not the last time we see you.
Yes. Please don't give us the "May the Force be with you" to us.
No. And he said it. This is not the last of him. I mean, there's been 12 years that he's invested in this company.
Yeah, this isn't the end.
I know. And we didn't have any news. There was only the DVD, which we're excited about, and we'll probably do an episode on the deleted scenes. But that's it.
Yes. Yeah.
So send us questions, comments, anything, and we'll see you soon.
May the Force be with you.
Bye.